What's going on, guys? Alec here with Thrawn's Pawns, bringing you guys the first video in our last ride series, recapping the last major tournament of Stars Unlimited before rotation hits
Yep.
the Milwaukee Regional Qualifier. I got my boy Brent here from Team
Yo,
Garage. Say what's up to the people.
how's it going, guys?
And then we got the two absolute legends, the two people carrying this team on their back, Mason and Knightley, which people might even know about. They're coming to this video to see them. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing great. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pretty good.
we're gonna be talking about these guys who day two'd the Premier Tournament. One of them day two'd both of the tournaments. One of them top eight at the Premier Tournament. One of them went undefeated in day one of the Premier Tournament. Just all the accomplishments. So if
That's
you guys like the
crazy.
video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel as well as Brent's
Yeah.
doing the collaboration video. So
Today, victory is mine. Long live the Empire.
Milwaukee Regional Qualifiers, the last one before rotation. For those of you that don't know, it was a 3-day event, kind of even a 4-day event. I know we got there Thursday night. There wasn't anything going on, but I think you could go to the event center and like check stuff out and sign up for things the day before and see what's going on. But so Friday begins our journey here, and we have day one of the limited main tournament, which was sealed, correct?
Yeah, it was sealed.
They just gave it was sealed. Okay, so they just gave you your packs.
Yeah.
I myself didn't compete in this because I'm just not a good sealed player. That is not what is the tools that I have on my belt is to be good at sealed. But you guys both compete in that, and how did that go for you guys?
For me, it went pretty well. I managed to go X2, and that allowed me to get into day two. I ended up dropping, but uh, yeah, it was pretty great. I pulled the Leia and a good deck around Leia, and although I didn't have some of the best cards in the pool, I just managed to play what I played to my card's advantages, and I did ended up doing really well.
Yeah, I did not open Leia sadly, but I opened a good Cardinal Yellow and a red build. I think I went X3, so not enough to, I dropped my last game in 3, not enough to make day 2, but I was able to get top 64, which had pretty good price.
Nice.
Really nice.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, if you open the Leia, seemed to be the story of the event. Like you seem to be better than like the rest of the
Yep.
competition. You open a Leia. So
That's crazy.
yeah, we're Knightley's accomplishment, as he mentioned. So he went X2 in the limited event, but Saturday is where the day two of the limited event started, but day one of the premier constructed tournament started as well. And Knightley dropped from the limited tournament to play in the premier one because it's more fun, right? Who wants to play? I don't want to be risk it up to a draft on day two. So,
Yeah.
spoiler alert before we get into this, Knightley also made day two of the premier tournament, which Mason did as well. But Knightley was the only player to go X2, make day two of the limited, and then drop to play in premier and go X2 and make day two of premiere, which is insane. Like, so huge shout outs to you
Yeah.
for doing that. I would have thought a bunch more people were going to be doing that, but evidently not.
Discussing that with the team while we were there, I also thought that a lot more people would be doing that because, I mean, for me personally, that would have been like my third ever draft, and in such a competitive environment, I would not trust myself to be able to draft well. If I went like X1, I probably would more seriously consider doing the draft because I would have insurance. so I could lose one game. But since I went X2, I would have had to win out the 3 rounds of draft in order to make top 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's what we were talking about is all the X2, very prominent premier players constructed, the main event, the main format, we had heard kind of whispers that everyone who went X2 is just going to drop because, yeah, you got to win out and bet it all on a draft, but like no one did. Like it was kind of insane to see how many people just stayed in there in X1 and said, no, I'll just leave it up to the packs that I open and see what happens. So, yeah, insane accomplishment. That's like, again, the one person somehow is the one person in the entire weekend that did that. I don't know how many people were there in the entire event, but do you know how many people were in the limited event, like total going into day one?
From my memory, I think it was anywhere between 300 and 500. They announced it at the beginning of the tournament, but
Gotcha.
I know it was less than the
Okay.
premiere event.
Gotcha. And then Mason, do you know how much were in the premiere by chance?
I thought they said 700 in Premiere and 500 in Limited, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Yeah, it might be like 7 and some change, 5 and some change, but
Yeah.
that sounds correct. So spoiler alert, we go into day 2 or day 1, I guess, of the Premier Constructed Tournament, and pretty much our entire team sits down and is going into that. So there was 9 of us there that competed in the tournament, but we are talking to the Han1 Yellow brothers who held it down for the team. So we can we'll have the deck list shown somewhere up on the screen. In fact, I could probably pull it up here. Yeah, Han1 Yellow, tell us. I know for the people, we've had some team practice. I'm a Han1 Yellow guy myself, but unfortunately decided to just switch last minute, which I absolutely should not have. Should have trusted the boys. But what made you guys choose Han1 Yellow for the Premier tournament?
Well, for me, I was gonna do Han1 anyway. I played Han1 green earlier in the set, and it felt pretty good. Then the Han1 Yellow, I think, won the sectors, and I decided I don't know if I want to play Han1 green into a bunch of Cunnings. I just didn't feel confident in the matchup, so I switched over. And it just felt really good. Cantina Bouncers are strong as always. Cunning is a great card.
I was playing Han1 Tarkentown before, and Mason was playing Han1 Yellow. We ended up doing a lot of training games together, and I just got tired of being beat by him. And so I eventually ended up switching to Han1 Yellow. I played a little bit of Han1 Yellow when DJ was still around. That was a weird mirror, and that's really why I switched off of it then. But yeah, Mason really converted me, you could say, to double Yellow Han, and it's a great deck.
Yeah, definitely strong for a reason. In fact, there's probably a good amount of people complaining about it after this weekend. But who cares? We're done at this point.
Yeah.
So let's get into the deck here. I know we've workshopped this a million different ways, and I know a couple of us on the team were playing it, in different versions. There's definitely some spice we got to talk about. In fact, there's one card that we definitely need to talk about that is in this list that I don't think any other list in the tournament was played this weekend, which we'll talk about here. But so getting into the list, a lot of the stuff, right, is kind of standard. I think the core, 40 cards are the same, right, for this deck. You play the Fast Falcons, the Haulers, the Techs, Cunning, Faith in Your Friends. There's a lot of stuff that's standard. But one and I know this has kind of jumped up recently, is the 3-drop Ahsoka unit from Twilight of the Republic.
Yes.
That
Yes.
card, that is a
I
toaster.
knew it. I knew it.
That is like a card you give to your baby to play with, but all of a sudden makes it into one of the most powerful lists
So
that we've
good.
seen so far. So tell us what made you guys bring that guy into the list, or her into the list.
So Ahsoka, the Han1 Tarkenton list has guerrilla soldiers in the list, which is their way to counter faith in your friends, because there's going to be a lot of mirrors. Faith in your friends is the best turn one you can play in the mirror for the most part. They have the guerrilla soldier. The guerrilla soldier doesn't really fit the style of Han1 Yellow, but Ahsoka unit, if they do the faith in your friends on turn one, you can use your Han ability and then play the Ahsoka, and it gains ambush, and you can kill one of their spies to take them off of the captor ship.
Nice.
Sanctioner shuttle.
Yeah, and that's just insane. Like, you're probably just winning the game from that point on, in the mirror or in the Tarkentown matchup, because Spy's not even damaging you back, right? So you're presenting a 3/4 on the board when they have a 0-2 rate 2. Like, seems pretty good.
Yeah. And against the Han1 Tarkentown, it kind of forces them to send their spy in and then burn Tarkentown, which you got 3 on base, the board's clear, Tarkentown's used. That puts you in a really good spot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, for sure. I know we have the second one in the board as well. Did you guys play this much? Did it come up throughout the weekend? Was it like we needed more of it, we needed less of it, or the one was fine?
I feel like for the sideboard, main decking one is really nice. I don't think I ever played it effectively against the Han mirror. I think I played against 2 Han mirrors. I was playing against in Swiss one Han blue, non-force base, Han1 blue. And I had Ahsoka in my starting hand, and I was like, there's no way that this deck is running. Actually, no, it was a force base. And I was like, there was no way that he's running Faith in Your Friend. So I Han ability'd my Ahsoka, and he laid the Faith in Your Friend. So the one time that I would have been able to play Ahsoka throughout the day, yeah, it I ended up resourcing it. It is really good when it works, but it's kind of situational because they have to start Faith in Your Friends. It's really good if you have like a Hauler or a Fast Falcon and Ahsoka, because you can still Han ability and know that if they don't play the Faith in Your Friends, you're not laying a 3/4. You can go space and lay your better units.
I played a couple mirrors. Most of the time I was able to open Faith in Your Friends when they did, and I didn't draw the Ahsoka. I did side it in against all those matchups. I didn't draw it when the Faith in Your Friends came. I don't know if I ever played it, but I mean, worst case scenario, it's just um, liberated slaves with 1 less health. It's not that bad of a downside to give you more of a toolbox.
And I know the one deck we were also discussing where it could come up with our teammate Alex, who is our Cad Bane enjoyer, is the 1-drop Cad Bane list. You could certainly, pump with Han, go to 3, send Ahsoka into a Guavian Antagonizer plus a card and make them use their target down, which seems like a really good turn against that deck. So, it's not like, hey, we're just pigeonholed into this one card is only for Faith in Your Friends decks. Like, there's also just those random decks who are going to lay 2 1s on turn 1 and think they're safe. So
Yeah.
that probably like second best spice of the deck list. One card I do want to talk about, which has had like a ton of discussion about it, and I have never cut it from my list, but I know a lot of people have, is the Party Falcon. And I know when we were like a week before we're making the mono yellow deck, I know we were all in the team chat going over like what needs to be in there and ratios, and I was just like, there's no way that Party Falcon doesn't make this list. I mean, if you rip a Han pile and it's going 6 to base, like, yeah, it goes in the list. How was that card for you guys this weekend?
It's really good. I would not cut it ever. It's just like the liberated slaves. It's just a great space unit to play, and if you can get the Han pilot, either to just value trade into your opponent's falcons or haulers or whatever ship they lay, or just to start slamming the base for 6 a turn. It's just an insane card. I don't think I'd ever cut it, especially with all the Typho's insurance running around. You just want another space option.
Yeah.
It's just a great turn one, like if you didn't draw your fast falcon or AT hauler, or maybe it's not the right matchup for the AT hauler, maybe it's the Tarkentown deck. It's just a great staple. Like Mason said, it's, if nothing else, it's like a liberated slave space. Just make it and make them answer it, and then if you hook up a Han pilot, it can just trade into their space units with the shoot first from Han, or it just hits space for 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always felt like that ship is just too good. I mean, you lay it in the late game, and if it's threatening lethal, and you have a fast Falcon, they're 6 away. They're like, okay, I'm safe from Han pilot, but you have to make them respect the Han pilot even more when you play the fast Falcon. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that card popped off here. And then the other one is Taladurith. I know that kind of came into play with when Han 1 started getting popular again, this meta, and it's just a very good card in the mirror. I know it doesn't seem like there was a ton of mirrors played, but did she come up a lot? Did she ever get plotted out, or was she just a resource that got sent to the discard pile with the Han ability?
I never played her. I never found an opportunity to play her. I was thankfully able to flip my Han first in most games, so I was the one threatening Hot Shot Blaster on their Han, not the other way around. She is good against ECL decks or the mirror, like you said, but it just never came up for me. So yeah, for me, she just went in the discard pile most of the time.
For me, I was able to play her a couple of times to great effect. Sure, if she stays around, she can become very annoying. Like if you Plo Koon the turn after, or Depa, or even like Amphies, and the Amphies also gains hidden, allowing them not to be able to deal with the threat immediately. She's also just really good for just protecting Han if you are trying to just push base, because you can flip and then hot shot still. If I were to update the list after regionals, I'd probably try to find room for another Tala in the sideboard, because there's some matchups that you just really want to draw her, like Mason was saying, against ECL decks, or against the mirror if you're trying to race. She's really helpful.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think mine has the second in the side over the Ahsoka, which I can't talk because I didn't play the deck, but would make sense. Then we got a lot of staple Han stuff. But then we get into the 6s, and then we got to talk about this card, which we're trying to find the clip. Don't know what happened with the stream, but my boy Mason was down on his luck in a match versus Talzin Green for space. He just had one fast Falcon in space. He sparked to rip the last power of the dark side. He had a confiscate for the entrenched. He needed 3 more damage on his base and could survive 2 actions. And he top decked Final Showdown. For those of you that don't know this card, this is a 6-drop. It's W. It's from Shadows, I believe. And you get to stand up all your units. And if you do not win the game that turn, you lose at the next regroup phase, or at the end of the turn. Can't remember what it reads, but he did get to Final Showdown as Millennium Falcon and shoot the base to win that game. And we're trying to, if we find the clip by the time this goes live, we will definitely include it in the video.
Wow.
But Mason, I know I heard many times about how this card ended games. First question was, Knightley, were you crazy enough to put this in the list?
Yes, I was. I really am a fan of win the game cards. Like, I just like running them. If nothing else, just for that one time where you just so happen to have it and you're able to just get lethal on your flip turn.
Yeah.
But our deck runs 51 cards, and there's kind of like one spot floating around, and Mason saw Final Showdown in the sideboard of a Han list, and he was like, "Why don't we just run this card? It seems like it could come in clutch." some games, and I was like, yeah, it could be really good. And throughout regionals, Mason especially got great use out of it. I didn't get as much use, but it's still just a great have in the deck.
Yeah, how many times, Mason? Did you count?
So on stream was the first time I played it. I
Yeah.
think the game I think that was around 3 or 4. I can't remember. The game after I didn't play it, but then every other game I did play it to win one of the games. One of them was against Boa Data Vault. He had like 10 left on base. I stood up all my guys and won. The last game of that day, round 8, I played it both games against the mirror match. Uh, to do like around 15 damage. Got him with it game 1 and 2. My opponent even sided in Bodhi Rooks to try and
It's
get it out of the hand. But
nice.
yeah,
Not enough.
so it really came in clutch for me. Day 2, I never played it, but day 1 it came in clutch.
Nice.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was certainly the spicy card of the weekend. It was a great moment on stream when we got to listen to the commentators go crazy, trying to read what card it was first, and then realizing it was Final Showdown. So, yeah, that's awesome. I could certainly see the spice and how that was applicable, and it's just one of those things people don't see it coming. They're not prepped for your 4 units to get stood back up again that turn, so they probably just claim and die. So, yeah. That makes sense. So, yeah, that's the deck. Any just changes last minute, or are we sticking pretty much to the same 60-61, I guess, in the entirety? Or
I would probably keep the whole list the same. Personally, I would probably, knowing that the meta was like all Han, I was expecting a little bit more control, blue-green villain. There's a couple that won PQs the week before. I would probably take out a confiscate for a tall, like Knightley said, to help prepare for the Han mirrors or another Plo Koon.
Yeah, I agree with Mason. I'd probably add another Tala in the sideboard against those Han mirrors. I don't know how good Blue Ace is. I mean, it's a good 4-cost 4/5, but throughout the week, I always struggled with. They had like a guy tap. They had initiative, and they had a guy tapped, and Blue Ace wasn't able to get effectively ambushed until after the unit that I wanted to ambush into was tapped, and she's not especially effective against fast Falcons either, because the Falcons interplay ready.
sure.
But I think it might be a staple that you have to add. I'd have to like test or try it out, try other cards instead, but that's a card that I could see dropping out of the list.
Makes sense. All right, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. So, Knightley, we'll start with you first. Why don't you run through what your record was on day 1 of the Premier Tournament, and then what the record was on day 2, and see how you finished out there.
Day 1, I went X2, so there's 8 rounds of Sith, that's 8 and 2. I ended up, my 2 losses were a Han double yellow mirror, which Mason also played against. It was Curtis, and that was the player. And then I also lost to a Han 2 Colossus. The Han 2 Colossus was very interesting, and 25 health is really hard to reach before they start laying Luke's after Anakin's, after Crate Dragons even. He never played a Crate Dragon, but we got to the resources that he was
It
able
could get
to.
there, yeah. It could happen. And then, what was your day 2 event? How'd that go?
Day 2, I was pretty burned out from playing Swoo those 2 days, in the limited and day 1 premiere, and I ended up misplaying a couple times in a few key moments in our games, but I ended up going like there's 5 rounds of Swiss day 2. I think I went like X4 or X3. I think it was X4. So not very good, and yeah, I just was not feeling the deck that day.
Well, if there was one player that has the excuse that they were burned out, it's the one that dropped from
Yeah.
X2 in the limited to
Yeah.
go into that one. So, no short of a good run. Were you in the points? Do you know? Was it top 64
Oh,
for your
I
final
was
standing?
one game away from getting top 64. So if I won my last game versus
Gotcha.
Cat Town, I would have gotten top 64.
Gotcha. Well, the great news about both of the boys is they both have their invites already because they're PQ champions. So this was just a bonus. This is just free cloud
Gosh.
for them. So, yeah, congrats on
Yeah.
the accomplishment nightly, and being the only player to day two both of those events, which is crazy. So insane running both. So let's get to the people's champ though. So Mason had a pretty eventful tournament, and if you didn't know him before, I'm sure a lot of people know him now. So let's run through your event, Mason. How was your day one?
So day one was really good. I ended up going 8-0. The only other guy was Yoda Data Vault. Yeah, I had a pretty good run. The deck was performing really well for me. Yeah. Um, Day two, I lost my first round to the other 8-0 player. Very good player, Yoda Data Vault. It's all a hard matchup for Han1 Yellow, but it's definitely winnable. I got him game one, but lost the other ones. But that was my only loss of the day. I ended up winning my other three and then eyeing into the top cut to actually make top seed of the Swiss and got myself the Han1 showcase.
Nice. That's
Nice.
awesome. And that's how many Hans in the top cut? The
Yeah,
4 or
so the
5?
top cut, I think there were 5. There were 3 Han Yellows and 2 Han Tarkin Towns. I think
So
second
it's
place was even Han Yellow,
yeah.
just a Han
So
deck, so.
you're not even. It wasn't even like, oh, I was first seed and then eighth seed was the Han one. No, it was like within 5 steps. Like you could have lost the showcase. So that's huge. And then tell us about your top 8 match with
Yeah, so top 8 match was against a player I played against in Swiss. I 2-0'd him there, but it was Han1 Tarkentown. I typically feel pretty comfortable. I know we were talking about earlier how me and Knightley have played a lot of games against it. Game 1 I was able to win. Game 2, the turning point was actually on turn 1. He played a hauler and I had to play my fast falcon. So he just kind of chewed up my falcon and then took over the board from there. Game 3 was pretty close. We both did Faith in Your Friends on turn 1, traded spies. This is where I made one of my misplays, I think, after going over it a couple times. I laid Ahsoka just for 3 without ambush, even though I knew he had another Faith in Your Friends to play on top. I probably should have Han abilitied to either stall for the face so I could Ahsoka or play Kira, look at his hand and name Daring Raid, which he ended up playing that turn on my tapped Ahsoka and Tarkin towned it, so he had 3 spies and I had 1. It was really hard to take back port state from that point. Either way, the game was really close. I got him down. I had my Lando's Falcon standing up in the air. I cunninged for tap +4, and then Surprise Strike was 1 damage away from being lethal. And I was 1 resource away, including the Han trigger, from being piloting Han and then Surprise Striking for 1 over lethal.
dang.
So really close games against a really good player.
Jeez.
He was clearly more tech than I was for the matchup. He ran clear the field 2 of in the main. So it's just a 2 cost, bounce a couple guys. He played it one of the games, I think, to bounce a couple spies in Swiss. And he played it at the end there to bounce my super cheap way to bounce my hauler back to my hand so I couldn't get lethal with the cunning and the falcon, the Lando Falcon.
Sure. Nice. Well, I mean, crazy game that you can take it to 1 damage off, even coming back from a deficit
Yeah.
like that. So, yeah. nonetheless, congrats on the run. So how many points are we grabbing after this weekend for you here?
I don't know how many points I got from limited top 64, if any. I think it might have been 25. And then I ended up going a 5th place in the regionals, which is still just top 8. 150, I think it was. So a total of 175, I do believe.
Nice. Yeah. Amazing weekend for points. And I know you guys were swimming in black packs, so we got all the Nihiluses, all the Vaders. You can trade for anything you want for next set. So, no, a crazy, amazing weekend for the Han1 guys. And, big shout outs to them. I don't know this for sure, but certainly some of the younger players in the event, and they're just eating all the pros up with cunning. And it was a great time. Everyone was hyped. Like, I think even I know we talked to Josh Schneider, shout outs to Josh if he was here, and he was like, that was crazy. I'd never seen the final showdown played before. So it was fun to see, just rip some crazy card that no one saw coming on stream. And it was great. Anything else you guys have to take away, or thoughts, or how are we feeling about the Han meta? This is our last event before rotation. Are we happy? Are we sad?
I am sad the leader's going, especially that I just picked up the showcase, but definitely happy for a fresh meta. Han1 is running rampant. The top 5 decks, it was 3 Han1 Yellows and 2 Han Tarkin Towns. Top 5 for regionals after coming from sectors a couple weeks ago, where Han1 also took that. So clearly it is performing very well. Tired of AT haulers on turn 1. It's a very good deck, and I'm ready for it to rotate out.
Yeah. For me, I am pretty tired of playing against the Han 1, and Han 2, as well as just playing that deck. I'm glad for rotation, and I'm excited to see the new meta and the new leaders that will be the best. Like, just get a clean slate. Yeah, it'll be a great time.
Definitely sad to see the Fast Falcon, though. That was is one of the cards I'll miss most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're speaking of that, we're gonna close it out. So I'm gonna ask you guys, now that this is the last ride, we're closing our rotation. I want you guys pick, if you could pick one card to bring with you into rotation, what's making the cut? What's coming with?
That's really hard. There are 3 that I consider. Like I was saying, the Fast Falcon. Cunning is also a very fun card to play. A lot of people are tired of it, but I personally love to play it. And then Hot Shot Blasters for the 3rd card. That card is just amazing. It's been off aspect in so many decks. If it were me personally, I'd probably say Fast Falcon to bring over. And then second would be the Hot Shot Blaster, close second.
For me, this is probably a bit harder. I spent my early time playing blue-green villain. It was Krennic, and I would probably say that if I could bring 3 cards, or even 1, it would be Resupply. It's just so good. I'd probably choose Resupply as one of them. Reinforcement Walkers as another one. Those ones are just so fun to play, as well as they're just great cards in general. The 3rd one will probably be Gorilla Attack Pod. I played Han to Data Vault. I tried it out for a bit, and Gorilla Attack Pods were just so fun to play.
It's crazy.
And those are probably my top 3.
That's another one kind of coming into the limelight in the Han 2 decks. All right, so we got the cards. Now leaders. One leader, he gets to come with, he or she, who's making the cut,
Hunter,
who's coming with over rotation.
Easy.
It's gotta be Hunter. It's the flippy top, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's so hard. It just had a really good run with Han 1. I am tired of him a little bit. I'm excited for him to rotate out, but he's a very fun leader to play. Being able to get an extra resource on demand And he also combos so well with Ready Falcon, not having to pay that tax. Really comes in handy. I'd probably bring Han1. I know a lot of people will be mad about that, but he's a really fun leader to play.
Yeah.
I'm ready for him to go, but I'd bring him.
Yeah. For me, I'd probably say Director Krennic, aspiring to authority. Yeah, like I said earlier, I played him all through sets 1 through 3 until I finally dropped him as a leader for different decks. But I really love the mechanic of damage units get +1/+0. Yeah, and his flip with Restore 2 is just really strong. Yeah, I would say he's my favorite leader of sets 1 through 3.
Well, at least we're getting a strong Krennic. Definitely not getting a strong Han after rotation. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we might need it.
Yeah.
We're finally not going to have a broken Han solo leader.
Yeah.
I think they
so-
finally
meta.
realized resource manipulation is too strong.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, fantastic run all around. Appreciate hopping on. I know this is the Monday after everyone is tired of Swoo. I know we had a store showdown that we could have been at tonight, and we're like, no, we don't.
Oh,
need
there's
this
one?
food. So there was one. Yeah, let's go. So yeah, appreciate showing up. Congrats on the performances all around, and it was a great weekend. It was so fun to have everyone at the event and the team, and it was just fun overall. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please give me and our channels a like. If you have any questions for Mason or Knightley, feel free to drop them in the comment section. Subscribe if you can. It helps us out. It's free to you guys. You can see more videos. Otherwise, this is the end of our first segment of the last ride. Have a good rest of the set, everyone.
Yeah.
Peace out.